Product launches is one of the most key moments of a product lifecycle on Amazon. It's nerve-wracking and the following questions always persist. What campaigns should I run? What should my expectations be? What should my launch price be? We're going to address all of that in this video. My name is Zain. I'm from SellerMetrics. We scale our Amazon brand clients profitably to 7 figures and above. So let's start with what campaigns should I run? Now let's start with the types and purposes of campaigns. There are 4 different categories of campaigns you can run, and these are the following. Ranking campaigns, and the purpose of these being to drive the organic ranking of your listing to the first page for specific relevant keywords, or at least during product launch. Once you are ranked, these campaigns also can account for really big sales, which is kind of amazing. Selling campaigns, and the focus of these campaigns, as it sounds, is to drive sales. Research campaigns, and the focus of these campaigns is to identify new keywords or new competing products that are good to put your ads on because they may result in sales and you just did not know about them prior to your keyword research. Brand defense, and this is pretty straightforward to protect your brand and listing from other competitors. Let's start with the ranking campaigns. You can run anywhere from 2 to 10 campaigns for the most searched keywords. Obviously, the bigger the budget, the more campaigns you can run, or the bigger the budget for specific campaigns if you really want to double down and rank for one specific keyword or set of keywords. If you don't have a big budget, reduce the number of campaigns and focus on the most relevant and impactful keywords. And among the ranking campaigns, we're going to do the following. We're going to do exact match. Your product only shows up for the very specific key terms that you set the campaign for, and broad match with a modifier. This gives Amazon leeway in changing the words, but matching the same buyer intent. So one campaign should be for simply the highest volume search key term. To give you an example, I'm launching this product. This is my brand name packaging. It's a watch case inside here. I would pull it out, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to repackage it. And this is going to be released in July. This is my research process to find out the most relevant keywords for me to bid on and run campaigns towards when I do launch. So I go to Amazon.com, but you should go to whichever marketplace that you're selling in. Type in the name of your product. So in my case, it is a watch case. And what we do is we scroll down and we want to do the most high ranked keyword, which would be these two guys right here. As you can see, they have tons of reviews and really high ratings. So these are the highest organically ranked products in my niche. And what we want to do is just grab its ASIN, which is right here. Then we go to Helium 10, and in Helium 10, we want to do a Cerebro, which is reverse product lookup. This is also a tool used for Walmart if you use that. And we search it. Yeah, so I grabbed the keywords from the listing, which was this 10-digit number here. And then I just pasted it into Cerebro. And what it does is it reverse searches the keywords that this product is bidding on. So what I like to do is actually organize by search volume at the top, because we want the highest searched key term to bid on for ranking campaigns. Because if you rank highly for the most searched key term, then you have the most opportunity to basically get people to look at your listing. Pretty straightforward. Okay. And make sure you don't just grab the highest search volume. It's also got to be relevant to your product. So for example, this says jewelry organizer. Can my product fall in the category of jewelry organizer? Absolutely. It does watch cases, but it also has all these other random products like rings, necklaces, bangles, and all these other things, right? So it is not the most relevant. But if I scroll down, basically go down, I think the first thing that comes up is watch case, which is exactly what my product is. I already knew that though. But there you go. If I open this up, these are exactly what my competitors would be. This is when someone types in watch case, this is exactly my type of product that would show up, right? So I know that I would take watch case, and this is one of the highest keywords to use, okay? You can actually find multiple keywords like this, of course, but I'm not gonna get into the whole search of every single keyword here. I will have another video on keyword research, and we'll do that sometime in the next few weeks. But nonetheless, we take the highest ranked keyword, and let's get into how to actually set up a campaign for that. So you go to advertising, and you go to campaign manager. As a side note, I really wish they just opened this in a new tab automatically. They don't do that, but it is what it is. Then you click create campaign and you do sponsored products. And then it should take you to this. And then you name the ad group. There are naming schemes for ad groups. Again, another video, I'll set that up. And what you want to do is pick your product. And I scroll down and I do manual targeting and I do keyword targeting and I get rid of broad and phrase and I do enter list and I take watch case and I just add the keyword. And boom, and then it tells me the bids. I'm gonna go into the bids and all that stuff in a different video, and that's pretty much it. And obviously top of search is the most impactful because you're coming up, like if I were top of search, bidding for top of search, I would come up here. Like these are this is the first row of products. Top of search would allow me to show up there, which is obviously the best placement because as you know, when you look something up, you don't want to scroll down too much. and you certainly don't want to go to the second page. Anyways, name your campaigns, start date, daily budget, all that stuff, and then launch a campaign. Pretty straightforward, right, guys? And basically, you can do the exact same thing for broad match campaigns, right? Broad match allows Amazon to take the keywords and change them to other keywords that target the same buyer intent. So they might take watch case, and instead of watch case, it actually shows my product for watch box, right? The whole point being is that it's trying to try out other keywords that are very similar to my keyword and targets the same type of shopper intent. And it's really good. The other thing you can do, guys, you can add a modifier. So a modifier is if you put a plus sign on it, okay? Plus sign means that you can change any word except for the word with the plus sign in front of it, right? In this case, broad match, what it might do is say watch case, but because I said don't change the word case, it may say jewelry case, for an example, right? Very, very straightforward. And this, because of the leeway, it allows Amazon to find different keywords, and you may actually result in more sales and identifying other keywords that you didn't consider before. Very, very straightforward, guys. So do exact in one campaign and broad in the other, and these are the purposes of ranking organically, so very high search volume keywords. So that was an example of simple keywords. You can also do long tail keywords. Instead of watch case, I can say watch case for men or 6-slot watch case, and these long tail keywords tend to be cheaper in bids and sometimes less competitive. A strategy you can employ is avoiding the highest volume keywords at launch altogether, because you may not have the high budget to compete for the highest search keyword in your niche. I'll give you an example of, like, let's say supplements, okay? If you were selling supplements and you type in supplements for women, look at the suggested bid in this niche, $9.71 to $13.84, as compared to my niche, which is 50 cents to 84 cents. So in this particular case, in this niche, it might be very difficult to actually bid on the highest search key terms. So what you want to do is do longer tailed keywords. So instead of supplements for women, you might want to do supplements for women during pregnancy. It's a very long tailed keyword, but it's likely cheaper. One thing you guys want to do when setting up your broad match campaigns is, in the negative keyword targeting, make sure you put in all of the exact match keywords that you use for your exact match campaigns. The reason we want to do this is that you don't want to have campaigns that overlap and then you end up double spending for no reason, right? So you don't want to spend your broad match campaigns matching up with your exact match campaigns because you didn't tell it to not match for those keywords, okay? Just a tip, just to save some money. Depending on your niche, the highest search key terms can be very, very expensive. So instead of bidding on those right off the hop during product launch, you might want to do long tail keywords. And as your product shows success and you're generating good revenue, then you will have more money to basically go after the higher search key terms. So in summary, guys, the ranking campaigns are all about driving organic rank. It's not to primarily get sales. It's mostly to just get to that first page so that you can get a lot of organic sales in future. And we're going to move on to the next category, which is selling campaigns, which the purpose is to drive sales. And if you like this kind of content, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Selling campaigns, as the name suggests, the goal with these campaigns is to drive sales. On product launch, we obviously want to get high organic ranking, but don't forget that the name of the game is to make money. So selling is very important. Also, Amazon takes all of this data in to identify whether your product is worth promoting. So even if you did put all of your budget in ranking campaigns, but really didn't get many sales, Amazon would consider this a bad listing and not promote your product as much. Here, we are going to set up product targeting campaigns instead of keyword targeting campaigns. We're not targeting keywords, we're targeting competing products. The idea here is that these are high intent to buy customers. If they are on relevant competitor listings, they're likely looking to buy a product that is similar to yours. Now, the question is, which competitors should I target? And that's a great question. And there are 4 types of competitors that I would target. The first type is lower rated competitors or higher priced or both. So like I said, I'm doing watch cases. So let's go back to watch case, my actual product, to give you an example, right? Obviously I'm a new product and I'm doing a product launch in July. Therefore, there's not going to be anyone lower rated than me because I'm simply not rated at all yet. So my goal would be to go after the higher priced. If I'm selling at $50, I would love to go against someone like this guy right here, Tauberry 6-slot wooden watch box for $160. So that's where I can really show up. I have a wooden watch box myself, and this would be a great product to show up for my product listing. Now, it's very important that if you have a lot of variation in your main keyword, my main keyword being watch case, for example, the variations are wooden watch boxes, travel watch boxes, leather watch boxes, 10-slot, 8-slot, whatever, so on and so forth. Mine being 6-slot, I really go after the ones that are the most similar to mine. So I'm 6-slot wooden. This is a 6-slot wooden. I would definitely bid on this product, but I would not bid on, say, this guy right here. I would not bid on 6-lot travel case because I'm not selling a travel case. And therefore, if customers are on this listing, they're looking for a travel case, not a home case. And therefore, even though I'm a 6-lot watch case, I'm not actually in consideration for them because their intent to buy is different. The next category of products to bid on is high volume. Okay, so this is very straightforward. High volume ones are the ones that are the highest organic ranking, right? So all of these guys right here, I would pick this one. This one is obviously the highest ranked right now. It's on the top of the organic search, and therefore this one gets a lot of eyeballs on it. And therefore, if I put my listing on this product, I'm kind of getting secondhand views from this high volume, high search product. So it's another great possibility to run some selling campaigns on. The next category would be products that have missing features. So basically you have a product that has certain features that your competitors don't. Okay, so mine is very unique in that instead of a flat box here, mine is a tilted display. I might as well show you guys. So as you can see, it's a tilted display. You know, it's not a flat box. The whole point being that it is supposed to be a display case more than it is a storage case, right? So here we go. That's how it looks. Hopefully you guys can capture that. Shameless advertising. Anyways, the point being is that the tilted display is a feature that my competitors don't have. So getting into, let's say I want to target this guy right here. This is a higher price product, far higher price product. And I go to, and I want to target this product. This is how I would set up this campaign. So you want to go to your campaign manager again, and you go to product, sponsor products. You pick the product that you want to sponsor. You take manual targeting, product targeting, and then you do individual products. You say exact, and you say enter list. And you paste in the ASIN of the target that you want to go for, and you put it in. And then it gives you a bid range that you want to go for. So very straightforward. And there you have it. And by the way, guys, all of this descriptions for all of these types of campaigns, how to set them up, how to name them, everything is actually in this book right here. It is the Ultimate Guide to Amazon Ads. We cover a lot of different things in here, such as the types of campaigns you want to run, the bidding strategies, campaign structure and budgeting, and of course optimization after you have launched already. So definitely check that out, and you actually can get it for free if you go into the link in description below, but check it out right here. If you want to learn more on how you can optimize Amazon PPC, you can get a free copy of our ebook, The Ultimate Guide to Amazon Ads, Advanced Tactics and Best Practices. This book has received a 4.8 out of 5-star rating on Amazon and has helped beginners and advanced sellers alike. Click the link in the description below to sign up to our emailing list and receive a free copy. Okay, so we've talked about selling campaigns, we've talked about ranking campaigns. Let's go to the next category of campaigns, which are research campaigns. And the purpose of research campaigns is to identify profitable keywords or product targets that you may not know about. I'm going to show you how to basically set this up right off the hop because there's no keyword research you need to do here. You go into your campaign manager, you go to sponsor products, and what you want to do is pick your product, of course. Then you do automatic campaign, and you can do set bids. You do set bids by targeting group, and then there's these 4 categories, okay? There's close match, loose match. These target keywords, and then there's substitutes and complements, and these target other products. So it looks for keywords that are very, very close to your main keyword. So if I'm selling a watch case, it's going to do watch box, it's going to do jewelry box, etc., and so forth. Loose match is much more broader and exactly how it sounds, a looser match. Like it takes words that are less likely to be associated, but still in the same ballpark. Substitutes, it shows your product on other product listings that your product can be bought instead of theirs. So any of my product competitors that have a similar product to mine, it'll show up on them and be like, hey, what about this product instead? Complements is products that you might be bought in addition to. So for example, my watch case can show up on product listings for, say, watches, like literal wristwatches, because in that particular case, if someone's buying a wristwatch, they might also want to consider buying a watch case. You might not actually want to have this on depending on what your product is. But for example, somewhere it can work really well is in the gym industry. If you're buying like a yoga mat, you might also want to buy some exercise bands. Those are 2 products that frequently go with each other, but you guys get the idea. I'm personally not going to run any complements in my campaign. I don't really think that people buy watch cases alongside watches. They usually buy watch cases after they've already bought a couple of watches, and they usually buy it independently. So that's why I'm going to turn it off. And what that allows me to do is save some of my budget from going to there. So now there's a few ways you can set up the campaign. You can do one campaign that targets all of them, close, loose, substitutes, and complements, or separate the match types out into multiple different campaigns. Personally, I would split this up based on how much of your budget is going towards research campaigns. If you have a huge budget, feel free to split them out as much as 4 campaigns, all targeting an individual match type. I'm going to do one campaign that targets all of them all at once because my budget isn't that big, and I'd rather just have the Amazon algorithm split the budget out based on what's working the best. Okay, because if they're all in one campaign, it's going to try to prioritize the ones that's working the best. And the last type of campaign we got to get into is brand defense. Now, I'll be very upfront here. If you're a brand new seller and you only have one product, this type of campaign isn't really that relevant to you. You don't have multiple ASINs to target your own product lines. And unless your brand name is very common or easy to mistake for something else, you don't need to run keyword campaigns towards your brand name. But in summary, to protect your products, you can use your other listings, run PPC that targets your own listings. And what this does is this takes up ad space and prevents your customers from advertising on your product. And similarly, you can do the exact same thing by targeting your own brand name as a keyword. Now let's get into what your expectations should be. For ranking campaigns, you will have high ACoS and potentially lose money. That's the reality of it. But you're not running these campaigns for the purposes of profit. Though if you do get some profitability, that's awesome. But the main purpose is to drive for organic rank. So really, you're going for a longer term tacos. For selling campaigns, honestly, it really depends how good your product and listings are. It's hard to put out really hardcore conversion rate expectation. Across Amazon, the expected conversion rate is 5 to 15%. But this is really assuming if your product is good. Your selling campaigns aren't working well. The things that you need to consider are your images. Can they improve? Your listing itself. This includes bullet point and your A+ content, and your price. And lastly, the research campaigns, again, high ACoS. There's going to be a lot of clicks on keywords that don't convert, right? Because Amazon is trying out a bunch of different keywords for your product. You may get clicks on a bunch of keywords that don't convert. Make sure that when you have a lot of data from these campaigns, you log the high CTR keywords with low conversion to use as negative keywords as you optimize your PPC going away from launch to ongoing. And this leads us to the last question, which is what price should you launch at? And I really do think this is kind of the $1 million question that a lot of early sellers or new sellers have. And honestly, pricing is based on the positioning and quality of your product. It's subject to change based on the response of the market. At the end of the day, your customers sort of set your price. What are they willing to pay for your product? I'm pricing my product on the higher end of the mid-tier. I'm not competing against the cheaper products that are like 10, 20 bucks, the ones that are very cheap from like Chinese manufacturing directly. I'm also not on the high-end luxury brand with established brand names or highest quality materials or design. So given my positioning, I find that the mid-tier products in my niche, in my case, are $45 to $70 roughly. Given that positioning, my strategy is to come in on the lower end, so around $50, and as I get positive reviews, I will increase the price. That's not the only pricing strategy, by the way. That's just one tried and true method. But that's it for this video. I really hope it was helpful. Again, if you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you want to take your brand to the next level, check us out right here. If you're an Amazon seller that wants to grow your Amazon profits, schedule a discovery call in the link below. We are an Amazon agency that helps our clients grow their revenue and their profits and optimize their PPC. Until next time, guys, take care.